was, but it's not going to matter. Kirk on the flank finds it down onto one. Riot's already down, so it's a technical 1 versus 2. And Bry just swung to his death. Twizzler on the top floor will look to retrieve their teammates, but a Kirk can find the timing and clutch it out. An ace for Kirk.
But Spider still gets a kill, and then Extra not ready for him in the corner, but oh my goodness, he gets the kill anyways!
He gets the kill, Teddy left alive. He doesn't yet again for Mirage!
He's low on health, especially when the Vulcan canisters are in play, but now Ambi low as well, but he takes the kill anyways! He's still left, but with 15 seconds and not too much intel as to where they are, it's not looking great for him, but he's just got the isolated frag onto Aimkey, and the last one's left in Freezer. This could be a very easy pick to find if he just looks in the right corners with the shotgun as well. He'll be lethal in the close range. A 1-on-2 for the Gridlock.
A chaotic first day to start off the XGS Spring Break, but we are looking to make things even hotter today as we enter into March and enter into day number 2. My name is Navical, being joined by Chaka, and Chaka, I don't know how there's any way we could top day number 1, but we're sure gonna try.
Yeah, the format for the Spring Burst is actually like pretty interesting as well. We saw just how quickly you can get promoted. Exosiris got promoted yesterday, just playing in that best of 1 against SPL, where they won 7-5 on Chalet, if you're interested in the specifics. And now SPL have to play in that decider match on Sunday to determine if they'll even get a chance at a promotion match. It's the same thing for Group B as well, where we also have 4 teams, and if they win that, all of the games today are best of 1s, just like how they were yesterday. And that promotion match being a best of 1 too. On this side of the bracket, we have Coastal Gaming, Bros Without Hoes, Wasted Talent, Valkyrie. It's all very exciting now.
Indeed, and I'm very excited to get into these matches today just because of the fact that there's a lot of different factors to consider. A lot of these teams have already played each other in the qualifiers, and I mean, you want to make sure that you can get this first win because of the fact that, like you said, you're just one more best of 1 away from qualifying to playoffs, which you'll meet one of the 4 invited teams, which you already talked about just a little bit. Those 4 invited teams waiting till next week. But as far as today, the first matchup is going to be Coastal Gaming versus Bros Without Hose. And just looking back at them a little bit, this Bros Without Hose team has been a lot of fun to watch. We saw them enter in as the number 2 seed from qualifier number 2. And I mean, Mike W, Joe, Slothy, and Snoopy, as well as Nilek, they are a lot of fun to watch. A very aggressive team from what I've seen.
Yeah, Slothy and Snoopy have played alongside each other in that Team Cynical roster that didn't quite make the waves in the Element 2. They got eliminated 0-3, I believe, or probably like 1-3, because I think they probably, they played against JJ's teams. Yeah, 1-3. And so they come into this team with Joe at the head of the roster, who's also a T2 coach. For Wildcard Gaming, Mike W's played on the old Outlast roster, who was in Element 1 back in the day. And Nilek, I haven't really seen him before up until he's played with teams like Come Up and like Bros Without Hose. Again, both teams led by Joe. But you look at their opponents for tonight, and it's going to be Coastal Gaming, players that I'm not really I don't have too much information on.
Yeah, me neither. The only 2 that I really have heard of is Gav Runnin and Jolt, just because of the fact that we've seen them play in T3 leagues before. Engage, Russ, and Resisted, I haven't really seen myself, but this team kind of came out of nowhere. They went 4-2 in the qualifier, which they qualified from, and then ended up in first place of their bracket, which was really a shock because of the way that they have kind of been an up and down team. You saw them in the open qualifiers lose 7-0 to One in Goons Academy, and then they came back and beat SBL, a team yesterday we saw have some pretty nice performances. Unfortunately, like we saw earlier on the bracket, they did end up falling in their promotion matchup, but still, I'm kind of curious which team we're going to get tonight. We're going to get that really good team, or we're going to get the one that kind of laid an egg against Goons ACAT?
Yeah, gotta figure out which maps we're actually going to go to, and you already see like some of the low preference maps being banned out from both teams. Bros Without Hose do not play Nighthaven. At least in the matches that I've seen, they don't like to play Nighthaven. They've always banned it out first, with Border being the follow-up from Coastal Gaming. Both teams don't like Border, so that makes a lot of sense. And then Coastal Gaming banned out Bank last, which leaves us with Clubhouse, which I think is very interesting because this map for Bros Without Hose is actually a really good map for them. Coastal Gaming have not played this map a single time in the qualifiers, whereas Bros Without Hose, they played it 4 times in the qualifiers and won it all 4 times.
Yeah, and well, one of the curious things for me was that Cafe was allowed to stand for so long just because of the fact that it was Coastal's best map through their qualifier run. They went 3-0 on it, including the victory against SPL in
Mhm.
close qualifiers. But like you said, looking at Clubhouse, it's more of that standard map. A lot of these teams, especially a team like Rose Without Hose that might not necessarily have played a lot of comp together, it's going to be one that they should know anyways because it's been around for so long. And you typically see that no matter what level of player you are, you understand at least the basis of how to attack and defend it.
Yeah, we saw also like the thing about Clubhouse being a standard map is we saw how Osiris X Osiris they're allowed to play with the Osiris banner at least for the Spring Burst. They've been given the go ahead by the parent org that they could do that. But we saw how aggressive and how not standard Osiris played into Clubhouse. And Bros Without Hose, you've mentioned it earlier, Nomical. They're a pretty aggressive team. They will push, they will swing, they will take gunfight just because they know they can and because they just want to.
Yeah, specifically Mike W. From watching him personally, I've seen him play some very aggressive operators like Warden with the 1.5. You'll see him just running around the map with these 1.5 scoped operators, just trying to go for early spawn peaks, trying to deny map control. So look to him early on, especially when he's on defense, but even on attack as well. You can kind of see him playing on the lurk. I've seen him sometimes play on like a nook and just try to sneak in, get an early kill, and he's kind of that space maker for this Pros Without Hose roster.
Yeah, and on the other side of that, Coastal Gaming, right? We don't really, I don't, well, you probably know them, but for me, I don't have too much information on them. The only player that I recognize on that team is Jodels. And I think them starting on the attack for Clubhouse, if you didn't know which sides they start on, Coastal Gaming do start on the attack with Rose Without Host starting out on that defense first. And I think attack is going to give us a good read as to how they play. Are they really good at coordinating with each other? How are they going to coordinate on these roam clears? Because we know Bros Without Hose are going to aggressively roam on the map. And how are they going to then deal with the late round executes if it gets to that point for them?
Yeah, and I believe we are ready to get into the game. Like you said, it's going to be Bros Without Host starting out on the defense and just looking ahead to the map bans. I've got a feeling that we'll see an Azami ban come out here. And just because of how Clubhouse tends to play out, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Capital on the attack as well. But the Azami just so powerful in a place such as Arsenal. You can use it to deny so many of those long angles towards the main hallway, towards the kitchen hatch, and even upstairs as well, just looking towards an area like rafters. You can make it such a stronghold for the defense, especially when paired with an operator like the Wamai.
They'll try to get the lobbies set up because we actually do not have word if both teams are in the lobby or even if we have that started up at the moment. From what I've understood, we just have we're just waiting on that to get set up. But speaking on the bans, you mentioned the Azami. There's also the probability of the Tubarao being played. Yesterday, when Osiris and Outlast played this map, it was the only time that Clubhouse was played in the three best of ones that we had yesterday for Group A. Tubarao and Kaid were left up available on the map, and we only saw Tubarao one or two times from both Osiris and Outlast respectfully, and also Kaid was left up in tandem with that Tubarao. And a lot of people understand just how good Tubarao and Kaid are as a combo, especially for a map like Clubhouse where you're dependent on getting hatches open, some of these exterior walls open, platform wall, church, triple wall, jacuzzi wall, and how much time Tubarao and Kaid, when they're both together, how much they both can waste on opening those walls, and then you're forced into like late round situations, which some teams, especially on Clubhouse, are not used to.
Yeah, and I mean, it's especially powerful because of the fact that today, at least in the meta, you see the attack team struggle so often to get some of that early control, and even a few seconds can make all the difference, like those two brow canisters like you were talking about. But I mean, that might be something that we see banned out. I wouldn't be surprised if we see one of those two banned out in tandem with the Azami, but with those big three defensive operators that are available nowadays, it really limits what is available, and it is going to leave one or the other up on the board. So we might see the Fenrir survive. We might see the Solus come out, which Solus on this map, very powerful because of the fact that you can kind of gain a read from the basement where the attack is going to be coming from, where those main pushes are going to be coordinated from as well. And because of the fact that you need such a utility-heavy lineup from the attack, you need to bring a lot of hard breach, you need to bring something to assist that hard breach. It's going to give that Solus, if it's allowed to stand up, a lot of leverage on the defense.
Yeah, speaking of Fenrir as well, it kind of eliminates the possibility for any type of fat pushes or any fast executes that might be coming in for the attack just because of how well the Fenrir mines work against the fast pushes. We saw in SI 2024, G2, I think their most banned operator on the defense was Fenrir, and it's because they are a very fast-paced team, and they just tend to, when they find the gap, they want to exploit it quickly. Fenrir alleviates a lot of that pressure that the defense faces because of the fast-moving attack, especially when you have tools like the Yin Candelas, like the Grim, like the 12 flashes that you can bring on the attack to speed yourself up a little bit more. So that'll be interesting to see not only what we get for the defensive ban rates, but also what we get on the attack, because Ying has been left up quite a bit, especially at 6 invite. You still, and even if she is banned, you still have tools like the Grim, like the Capital, like the Brava, like the Flores, all 4 of the operators that I just mentioned, which aren't banned nearly as much as a Ying and Dokubi combo.
Yeah, and this is a map where you have to be creative with your attacking operator bans because you need to get rid of some of that hard breach. You need to kind of limit
Yeah.
what the availability for the attack is going to be, and it's going to be Ying off the board first. That's not surprising. That was the most banned operator through the first 2 qualifiers for Spring Burst, and it actually had a 100% ban rate, at least for the games that were on stream and we had information on. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Flores here, maybe a Maverick. It's going to be the Habana. Okay, that's an interesting one, a little bit of a curveball. It's going to mean that the Hatch Queen is going to be locked up for the remainder of this game. It's going to make it more likely that we see a lot of those operators with the can openers that they're so likely referred to. The hard breach charge is going to be much more prevalent because you have, like you said, those hatches that you have to worry about. But it's going to be a lot easier now as the Cade is banned out by Coastal Gaming.
Still have the opportunity for the Tubarão being left up, because if you at least ban the Kai, there is no worry that the hatches or walls will be impossible to open. You still have that potential to play around to ban it as well. And now with Solus being banned, you eliminate the ability to deny the attacker's most important assets, the drone games and a lot of that. And also you won't really have to deal with her in the late round, especially if a Solus were available, which she isn't. First round though, Rose Without Hole is going to start off in that basement site. And another attacker that I kind of want to highlight that was actually like really influential at the 6th invite because of the changes to frag grenades and just how much just because of the changes to frag grenades and what they meant for power positions is the Buck. He was probably one of the more powerful operators that we saw at 6th invite. And I felt like not enough people talked about that.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, there's a lot left on the board now for Rose Without Host to work with on their defense. You got the Fenrir being brought out right away. No Zombie, however, which is a little bit of a curious one, like we talked about. Going to be very powerful down in Arsenal, but that Fenrir going to be so influential when trying to determine where the attack is going to push from. Going to give away a lot of positions, especially on these choke points, like the bottom of things pairs, like in blue as well. With the Valkyrie on the board, it's going to give a lot of information to the defense. It's going to make it a lot harder for Coastal Gaming to push in and go for a potentially sneaky play, at least early on in the round. Later in the round as well, could see some C4s thrown up in an area, because you've got 2 of them on the board with Slothy and Joe. Opening engagement starting to come out as Slothy's looking to get aggressive on the main stairs and try and potentially find a pick over by Dirty. He's not going to find one, however, as Coastal Gaming are looking to play a little bit slow and start going for a top-down player.
You have the Dokubi to aid them with that information plus the drones. They're not really giving anything away here. 2 bros without hoes, and Slothy may find himself in a gunfight, and he finds the first kill in Group B in the very first matchup.
Yeah, not having your Buck anymore is going to be such a crucial blow to the side of Coastal Gaming, as they'll lose another one to Snoopy, but that's going to really limit the amount of vertical construction you can use inside of the kitchen and inside of that main hallway, and it's going to mean that Bros Without Hose are a lot safer down on the site, but they are going to finally pick up a kill, take down Slothy, and not going to be a huge find there, as all the camps placed out in the beginning of the round, so just losing that gun. But it's going to get even better as Mike W is still out on the roam, being very aggressive like we talked about in the pre-show. Just finds another kill, makes it even harder for Coastal Gaming. We're only a minute in, and there's the aggression that we've seen Bros Without Hose they're so well known for.
finding those early picks and onto crucial operators as well. And the only two operators that you have alive can open up some of these hatches, but with the nitro cells in the back pocket of Joe, that's going to be made hard, and then all tricking onto that could happen onto the arsenal hatch and kitchen. You might not want to go for that, so may look to execute probably over by secret stairs and then maybe go for a blue dirt split. That's probably the call here from Coastal Gaming.
Yeah, they've got about a minute to work with, but Mike W is still being aggressive, still trying to challenge for every little bit of map control that Bros and that host still have on their side. Doddle's just working his way in. He might get to get this hatch open, but he's going to have Engage to cover him because Mike W is still being aggressive. He's going to find another one, but Engage is finally able to end his reign of terror, but his position's going to be given away by the Dreadnought Mine, and that's going to alert Bros of that host. In fact, he's potentially trying to go for rotate towards the main staircase. It's not looking too good for him. He'll need to find an ace clutch, and well, he'll die to a Legion Mine. Not something you see every day, and round number 1 comes to a little bit of a poisonous end as Engage will fall at the top of the main stairs. Bros that hose being very aggressive on that Arsenal site. Very well done by them.
Yeah, Bros Without Hoes, just a very expected way of playing that Church and Arsenal, at least in context of them. Usually teams like to anchor down in Church and Arsenal, especially when you have tools that are readily available to you, such as the Fenrir, such as the Mira, and then even if they didn't pick it in that last round, Tubarao is also still up, so you can waste some time on the hatches and a hard breach potential there from Coastal Gaming. But Bros Without Hoes, they just love to get aggressive. They love to challenge for those gunfights, and they proved it there in that opening round. And even though Coastal Gaming tried to go for a full top-down clear with information, with the Dokkaebi in particular alongside those drones, it just didn't work out for them. They weren't able to win those heads-up gunfights, and they were just also swung at unexpected times. Though I don't expect those aggressive plays to happen again, especially if Coastal Gaming, with how well they played in the qualifiers, can adapt in this upcoming.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, like you said, it's going to be so important that they not lose the opening pick so early once again, because they need to get themselves into a more advantageous position to let their information game really get the better of the defense. I mean, we didn't see Russ have any impact on the last round, and that's surprising because of the fact that Dokkaebi is one of the strongest operators right now. It's the reason we see her banned out so much. And Slothy and Nilek trying to get aggressive out onto that CCTV platform. Not going to find anybody, as nobody actually spawned over there, so aggression from the defense, not going to go punished or not going to find anything early on. As Coastal Gaming once again will take to the roof, they'll start to figure out how they want to approach this gem site. For the moment, it looks to be like we see so often. It's going to be a cash and CCTV clear, at least to start things off. We've got players over on Jacuzzi as well to try and provide a little bit of split pressure, at least alert Bros Without Hoes to the fact that there might be somebody who could potentially work their way into Jacuzzi. Russ actually going to work his way into Strip Club to try and find a cutoff down below. Not going to find anybody for the moment, as I believe Bros Without Hoes have fully committed to holding on to the top floor.
It's just going to be a simple cache and CC extension, which means that main stairs isn't going to be as easily contested for, and it's already Coastal Gaming taking full advantage of that. They're attacking down below using some of their explosives, or at least that was an impact nade from the back pocket of Slothy, trying to make some vertical angles just above the main stairs, just in case Coastal Gaming tried to go for that. They also haven't opened up the Jacuzzi wall, which is going to get opened up now. But in the opening minute, there's nothing here from Coastal Gaming to suggest that they have any foothold in this round. They haven't really gotten any control by Cash and CC, but now Russ is sneaking up the main stairs. What?
Yeah, Russ just walks his way into Gold Vault, finds another one, before he's finally traded from inside of construction, but the damage has been done. Coastal Gaming find the opening 2 picks, but Snoopy's coming alive. He's found the equalizer now, just a minute, but this is just in the sight. The trades come back in, still favoring the attack. Mike W trying to retake, he'll down the diffuser, but he's all alone now in the 1 versus 2 as Runnin finds another one. The trade is not even in. Runnin finds the final 2, and Coastal Gaming with a much more well-executed attack onto the gym site, helped out beautifully by the fact that the Dokkaebi was able to just walk up the main stairs.
Yeah, and last round you noticed, in a basement round that Bros Without Hoes played in the first round, is that they had more trap operators. They had things like the Legion, like the Fenrir, and only in that round that they have the Frost. They had a lot of on-site utility that aids them with a very default push if Coastal Gaming were to have cleared not only from the Jacuzzi breach, but also from Cash and CCTV. But what Coastal Gaming did is just attack into a weak spot. The main stairs not being watched. Nobody in Lodge, or at least unaligned, to watch that walk in, and they also had no information on the main stairs. So that was just very easy for us to attack that gap in particular, and then punish Bros Without Holes for not having anything to alert them, no barbed wire even, on those main stairs. And that's just a very easy cleanup at the end of it for Coastal Gaming.
10 seconds left.
And you see this round, Bros Without Hose reading into that adaptation beautifully. You
5
notice
seconds
that
left.
they didn't have anything to alert them to the push-up main stairs. Well, how about a Malusi? How about some
Attackers
barbed
are
wire
heading
coming
out.
out? And even a Frost
Yeah.
can really help with that. And Bros Without Hose with a much more alert-heavy style of lineup being brought out. As Slothy might be trying to get aggressive here inside a strip club. They might have read into the fact that Russ came from this spot in the last round. With this, Russ has the perfect cutoff drone. He's very much aware of the fact that the Azami is just in this position. So Coastal Gaming can isolate him out very early on. They can get that opening pick in of the Azami going down first. That would be a crucial blow to defense.
Seems like Coastal Gaming are going for the same attack, running, attacking in from kitchen, making some vertical above logistics, trying to put some pressure onto the defense here and make the entry a little bit easier up the main stairs, just like how they did it last round. That's why nobody was in logistics, is because of that buck who kept putting pressure into that certain position and allowed the space for the Russ, or for the Dokkaebi of Russ to walk up the main. But that doesn't really mean much of anything because they put more emphasis on the first floor roam here, have Bros Without Holes, plus the trap ops like you highlighted earlier, and it highlights that first kill for Mike W.
Mike W coming alive in this round, and oh, that's going to be a. Oh, I mean, that's probably the round sealed right there for Coastal Gaming. You've lost your buck, the main operative that we saw have success, like you talked about, cutting off inside of Logi, making it a lot harder for Bros That Host to play in there. And you still got Slothy and Nihilek situated down inside of the bar. Slothy can get punished potentially for having the Giga barricade in his hand, and there you go. Russ finally brings something back. Oh, actually, they traded. Traded inside a bar, and it's going to leave Bros Without Hose in a fantastic position as it's all looking folks in the 1 versus 4 now. Just situated outside on highway, gonna get felled by Nihilek, and Bros Without Hose, well, they read into their strategy perfectly. The trap operators help them very much, and they'll pick up that round number 3.
It's a good adjustment for Bros Without Hose, and a lot of people may look at this stack and think, well, this is a pug stack. They're gonna just be very aggressive, play a little bit brain dead, but you know, when you have people as smart as Joe and as experienced as Slothy and Snoopy, who have played on a collection of teams, and Joe, who has coached a T2 team, Wildcard Aces in Element 2, you're gonna have people saying, well, this is how they attacked last time, and they may not change it up again. That was a good read for them because Coastal Gaming didn't change anything up. They went for the same push, trying to go up the main stairs, making the vertical in kitchen so that they could get an easy walk in into Logi. And Bros Without Hose not only had the first floor players, but they also had second floor players who had vertical in positions where Coastal Gaming entered from last time. So good adjustments in the round after the round that they just lost to that same push.
Well, we see a very similar lineup to what we saw in the last round compared to what we saw the first time we were here. No Valkyrie on the board this time. You've got... Well, Fenrir was here last time, but you've got the Azami instead, and I actually like this from the side of Bros Without Hose. They can bunker down a lot more than they were last time, because remember, last time we were here, we saw players like Slothy be very aggressive out on the main stairs, and this time it seems like Bros Without Hose are going to put a lot more emphasis on the holding the site and making it a lot harder for Coastal Gaming to actually go for a late round execute. Azami paired with that one is going to make it so hard. Coastal Gaming might be able to have a lot more success on the roam clear.
Is it really any roamers, like you mentioned, just players, or actually, I'm so sorry, I looked at the outline. There are a couple players. One is inside of CC, and then the other two were just playing above or on the main stairs, hoping to catch some players off as they try to rotate, but really, Coastal Gaming haven't interacted with the west side of the map, nor have they interacted with the top floor, but running just might change that.
Well, the kill's coming out very quickly because of the fact that now it's already down to a 2 versus 3. We're just a minute in, and only the Blitz and the Buck left on the board for Coastal Gaming to try and bring this round back. And Donald's all alone, working his way inside of blue. It's going to be so hard for him to get in because he's going to have his position given away by the barbed wire, by the Kiva barricade, giving a little bit of extra protection to the defense. Running going to work his way down to oil pit to try and support the shield operator working his way in, but they've got Joe situated in the perfect position to try and deny this. It's so hard for Coastal Gaming to clear him out, especially because of the fact that the entire flooring has been shot up, making it even harder for them to get in to try and clear him out.
We tried to use a Gon 6, I believe, for the zombie barrier. That's a one-way key, but he's gonna die to it. Now Blitz in the 1v3. He's gonna push from the back, from the side, from the front, and he's also being nightmared by the Finner gadgets. That's a very good end of round there from Bros Without Hoes. That time playing a little bit more closer to sight, like you said, but then also the trade game up top kind of key to the end part of that round too.
Yeah, Bros Without Host tricked me a little bit. They had a very bunker heavy setup with their lineup, and then they just decided to go out on the roam on the
Yeah.
top floor and then be a little bit
Defenders,
more
protect
sneaky, a
your
little bit
bombs.
more aggressive,
By
kind of like we
down.
saw in round number 1. That's what I've expected from this team, and I'm very excited to see the fact that it's working out so well for them, at least to this point. And I mean, well, while it still was a very effective roam, the on-site presence was really good as well because you had Nilex situated on that warden. Who we saw when Coastal Gaming tried to go for the blue clear, absolutely was able to shut it down. He was the perfect operator to deny that blitz. But just looking ahead to round number 5, it's going to be the first time we see CCTV cash, and you've got that Wamai paired with these zombies, such a deadly duo, and it indicates that Rose That Hose are going to put a lot of emphasis on the holding on the garage.
Also, bringing in the Fenrir this time around.
5 seconds
Fenrir
left.
being very effective in that last round, specifically in slowing down that blitz and ensuring that Joe wasn't going to be pinched blue. So, pretty good read here from Bros Without Hoes. They're just using the tools that they have available to them. A lot of the attacking operators, a lot of these trap operators, the Legion, the Melusi, the Frost, the Fenrir now even, but also getting have some tools that they can use too. They're going to bring the Capital in this round as well as the Monty, and that's going to help them put some pressure onto the Raptors' position.
We're just about 30 seconds in, and Coastal Gaming are working their way in, trying to get this garage control. You've got the Montang working his way in as well. Resisted, going to try to provide a lot of information and try to potentially mask the presence of the Capital, who's working his way in through garage. Make it a little bit easier for them to clear out Raptors. But Mai is the perfect counter for that Capital, so it's going to be a lot of utility that's going to be needed to dedicate over to that garage push by Coastal Gaming if they're going to have the effect to clear it. But Russ is going to make it a little bit easier. They're going to take out Doc. No more stem pistols on the board. But Mike W situated up on Raptors. He's got support of Nilex situated down in lounge, so he's going to have the perfect cutoff if someone decides to run in through that lounge door, and well, he's just going to play chicken with the Monty for just a few minutes.
Wonder when they're going to start using the Capital utility, or actually they have. The UI is just tricking me. So Running did use some of his officiation bolts, but the pressure from the Monty proving to be a little bit too much. That's Raptors completely cleared, and they have the platform breach open. So this is all very good for Coastal Gaming. It's all about getting into sight now, and then clearing this last so they can free up a plant.
And Snoopy just hanging on to this construction position. Nilex trying to take a fight, trying to retake control of garage for his team, and it's not going to go very well for him. He's going to lose about half of his HP. He might have the idea that there's a player out on the platform rappel, so he might go for the jump out, but he's going to have to be very careful because they find themselves in such a precarious position. Down 2 bodies and with full garage control seceded, it's going to make it even harder, but Nilex seems to be going for the retake as Lamonti's just working his way in. Just eating damage from those impact grenades. It's going to be a lot harder, and Nilex has read beautifully by running from inside a garage. Man advantage even worse now for Bros Without Hose. It's all up to Joe, who's situated at the top of red stairs. And how about a flawless round from Coastal Gaming? Nice answer by them onto the CCTV attack.
Yeah, made all the much easier. Platform wall being open, and then Amonte putting pressure on to the Raptors position. When my really once the doc died had no support as reason we pause as yeah sorry as yeah the Umai really just had no support after the doc died, and also with platform wall being open, none of his teammates can rotate to help him, and he's just being isolated by so many things. Makes it very hard to even contest Amonte, even when you have those keeper barriers up to block any lines of sight that may be used against you, because you have to push up and then you have to expose yourself. So Coastal Gaming just very much isolating that player onto Raptors, and pressuring him from a lot of different angles.
Yeah, and just looking ahead to round number 6. Remember, last time we were here, we saw Bros That Host put a lot of emphasis on trying to deny the entrance into the building, at least through the main stairs position, because the fact that the first time we came to this site, Coastal Gaming was aggressive in their push up the main stairs and Logi's side of the map, especially because of the fact that they used the buck from below to mask the presence of the Dokkaebi sneaking upstairs. But this time, we're going to go back to the same sort of lineup we saw the first time we came here rather than the second. We've got the Valkyrie in favor of the Malusi, so it means Bros That House might be susceptible to a aggressive take once again.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
They do the same type of hold that they did last time, where they just have people holding more below and denying the main stairs push. That could work for them, but then if you do that, you kind of leave yourself susceptible to cash and CCTV aggression. Unlike the attackers, the defense do not have the opportunity to repick in the middle of the round. Just imagine, like, you pick into a mirror, you place down a mirror gadget, and you're like, oh, I don't want to play mirror anymore. And then your mirrors just disappear. That'd be kind of funny if that could happen in Siege, but no, you can't do that. So the defense is just stuck with what they have for now. Minimal trap operators. This time they do have barbed wire. They can place that on the red stairs or even on the main stairs, just so that they have some sort of sound cues as to where Coastal Gaming is coming from.
You mentioned defender repick in the middle of the round. I think that would, or at least the middle of the prep phase, I think that'd be really funny. Just the chess match, that would be the attackers and defenders just swapping back and forth lineups because of the fact that it would mean the Coastal Gaming, or at least the attack team, would have to put a lot more emphasis onto joining out who the defenders are actually playing. I mean, I would love to see that as a change, but we've got the Blitz once again. Coastal Gaming have really started to favor this shield play, and I mean, last round when they attacked onto CCTV with the Montang, it worked out really well for them. They were able to force out that garage goal. But when we saw them play Blitz, they tried to get really aggressive towards blue back in round number 4, and didn't go well for them because of the fact that there was the Warden on the board. Not going to be a problem this time. No Warden. You do have that Frost that Resistant might have to worry about if he's not careful to check his feet.
Yeah, they mainly use the Blitz as a way to clear the second floor because it was the basement site. And I've seen a lot of teams do that. SSG have done that before, where not only have they done direct site takes, but also with the Blitz, they use it to try and clear roamers just a little bit more aggressively. If you can't really push them out with the frag grenades, then you can certainly push them out with your shield, and it's already decided. Starting us off with the entry towards logistics. 2 kills ranked out. Bros Without Hoes grab 2 themselves, and now it's a third here for Decided.
Well, the Blitz finally going to end his reign of terror as Slothy's able to finish him off, but he's now all alone, just situated inside of the bathroom. Engage has the cutoff for him onto Logi. Not quite sure where Russ is positioned at the moment. It's going to be actually on main stairs, so Coastal Gaming attackers have the perfect rate and the perfect cutoff onto Slothy if he decides to go for a rotate. But he doesn't have to. He's just content to sit here outside of the jacuzzi, walk in, and he's just going to hold the angle onto the main stairs. If Russ walks up, surely he's a dead man, but the grenade gets him and force out his position. Force Slothy into a bit of a rotate. He might have the read on the player inside of Logi, but Engage reads him even better. It's Coastal Gaming. They pick up 2 rounds in a row, once again favoring that aggressive take, and well, Bros That House might have been punished for not bringing that Malusi this time. When we did see them bring it on Jim, it worked out very well for them. Malusi might be the win condition here, as we'll actually swap sides now.
Yeah, and an interesting thing about that is how bare logistics was left there from Bros Without Hoes. Again, like you mentioned, it's not even just the Malusi. They brought things like the Fenrir, like the Legion, and I mentioned Fenrir quite a bit, especially surrounding G2 at 6 Invitational, and how like they banned Fenrir a crap ton just because they love to do these direct site fast takes. Fenrir makes that near impossible when he's left up. For the last 2 rounds that we saw Jim in Bedroom, or 3 rounds that we saw Jim Bedroom being played from Bros Without Hoes, they've neglected to bring the Fenrir, leaving themselves very susceptible to fast takes from Coastal Gaming. And now going on to the defense, 3 rounds on the attack, especially in this meta where people are saying this is the most defender-sided meta that we have, is actually very good for Coastal now going on to their defense, starting out with this basement site.
Yeah, and well, thankfully it seems like the defender side of meta might be easing a little bit as next season, remember, there's going to be those big zombie changes, going to be able to shoot them out from a distance, but Russ looking to be aggressive, at least in the start of this round. He's going to be playing inside of stock and trying to potentially challenge the players as they go for the opening into that blue hatch, and Well, if they're not careful to drone, because of the fact that he is Mozzie, it's going to be a lot harder to drone him. But if Mike W and co are not careful, they might find themselves losing an early body. They don't want to be losing that buck first because of the fact that you're going to be very limited onto what saw destruction you can do. But Russ is going to go ahead and give his position away. And, well, Mike W is going to be a little bit more weary trying to challenge that.
That seems a little bit split on what they want to take. The two players kind of pushing in from the CCTV side, another player in Garage connected with Mike W. They might not even know about Russ, and they didn't even drone it out in the first place. So that's an easy first kill for Coastal Gaming, and already a weakness showing here for Bros Without Hose.
Well, Mike W being aggressive, like we mentioned that he tends to be, and he's going to be punished for it, but Slothy's finally going to shut Russ down inside of stock, and I believe that's all of first floor control now in the favor of Bros Without Hose. They can get their hard breach into position. They only have the ace. Because of the fact that they lost Mike W, that's going to really limit what Coastal Gaming is going to have to worry about when Bros Without Hose decide to utilize the Soma charges. You probably are going to see them utilize the kitchen hatch, maybe open up on a blue, but that's going to really limit where Bros Without Hose can attack the rest of the map. Because remember, you're not going to be able to open up that church wall. You're not going to be able to open up the moto hatch. So Bros Without Hose is going to be really limited when it comes to their attacking angles.
The only thing they have is the one hard breach, like you mentioned in Joe, and you can only open one hatch with two Selmas, which isn't really a good trade-off, especially if you plan to attack down the main stairs later. And they may not even go for a main stairs take or church execute. They may go for a dirt blue, which is why you see Jodal's posted up here in dirt.
Yeah, Jodal's just situated there with this M590, the perfect operator to try and deny an entrance into dirt, and there's not going to be much to challenge him. No smoke grenades available to the side of Bros Without a Hose, and no more hard breach. I don't even know if Joe was able to use any of it, as Resisted is able to fall back through the hatch. Yeah, how did he get there? I believe he rotated up blue, maybe, and found that kill, but still a big pick no matter what. The main focus here seems to be on the blue take, and Resisted finds another one, takes down Nilek, potentially has another one in his lineup, but no, Snoopy's going to shut him down. Now all alone in the 1 versus 3. It's going to be running to get that final kill. And Coastal Gaming now, 3 rounds in a row for them. They're trying to build this momentum as they start their defensive half out really well, thanks to a lot of aggression, kind of like what we saw from Bros Without Hose.
Yeah, that attack, the lineup even, was just kind of like a little bit off. I didn't really understand what they were trying to go for. I knew they brought the buck for the vertical play above the main hallway, and also for kitchen, and then maybe you use the hard breach charges for the hatches, and you use ace for the main wall. But then once they lost those opening picks because of a lack of drone work, that made executing into the late round, once they tried to like make their final push happen, very awkward, because you don't have any of the hatches open. Your push is very one-dimensional, meaning that Coastal Gaming have a lack of pressure against them in different places. So Bros Without Hose not really starting the attack off in the best of spots, but Coastal Gaming with a very strong defense now moving on to their second.
Well, we'll head back to gym, the most played site so far at least through this match, and a little bit of a change coming out from Coastal Gaming. We got the Bandit on the board for running. Gonna see potentially some Bandit tricking coming out now, as you've got a lot of hard breach on the side of Bros Without Hose. You've got Thermite combined with the ace, so you do have that Thatcher on the board with Nilek. It's going to make it a little bit harder for Runnin to actually do his job successfully, but if he can actually use those Bandit batteries and actually Bandit trick effectively, then that could be a very crucial blow to Bros Without Hose. And for the moment, at least for the attack, seemingly going to be heading for a CCTV cache clear. You've got Resisted down below. Actually, I believe 3 players of Coastal Gaming just situated on the first floor trying to deny and try to make it harder for the attack to actually gain map control.
I think Coastal Gaming are expecting Bros Without Hose to do the same thing they did, put some pressure inside of kitchen. But even then, they don't even have, wow, they don't even have but for soft breach potential. Now they know that this player is in the kitchen. Got that first pick onto Snoopy, but Nilek dies as well. The drone work, again, not really there for Bros Without Hose. The trade not quick like it was last time. And they start this round off without their Ayana, but most importantly, without their Thatcher for a gym bedroom execute.
I think if Bros Without Hose aren't going to be keen to drone, which we haven't seen them do much of it so far, they need to bring something like a Dokubi, like a Jackal, to try and assist them with their clears when they try to enter the building. Because, I mean, like we've seen now 2 rounds in a row, they go in on the entry, their drone work has big holes in it, and they keep losing 2 bodies to start off the round. and that was going to enable Coastal Gaming to be a lot more aggressive, a lot more advanced on their defense because of the fact that you see them just half the round left and they haven't fallen back. They're still holding on to construction, still holding on to these offsite positions, and even extended all the way in CCTV, which is very surprising to see at this point in the round.
He gets immediately traded out once he finds that kill into Jodels, and that speaks to the teamwork there for Coastal Gaming. Now Bros Without Hose, only with the 2 hard breach. Really, the only place you can attack from is Cash CC. You gotta give up on the Jacuzzi wall just because there's most likely bandit charges over there, and you have nothing to deal with them.
Well, Joe's gonna be felled as he works his way in, and Runnin is gonna have the final kill inside of construction. Coastal Gaming. What in the world are we seeing from them? They look like a completely different team. They are very strong right now. These defenses have gone very much in their favor. Coastal Gaming, I mean, we're going to head to CCTV now. We're likely going to see them head onto the garage side. Likely going to be seeing them put a lot of emphasis. We've got the Azami on the board. Likely going to see what might potentially no. Going to have the pulse. Not sure what happened there, but hey, I like that pulse pick. Going to be very enabling from down below, especially if you let Running go and roam down inside of the bar. You can give a lot of information away, especially if Bros Without Hose decide to go for a master bedroom focused attack.
I will say though, on the topic of like the drone work here from Bros Without Hose, it's not really, you know, because like the thing is that you see the positionings that Coastal Gaming are playing, like Engage playing directly in kitchen, not something that you would usually expect or usually see, even if it is a gym bedroom site where you have the potential to do a lot of vertical play. And also the position earlier, I believe that was from Russ playing inside of stop, meleeing the plastic barrier where he, not the barrier, but the plastic container where he was able to hide inside of a corner. That's not a position you would expect either, so I really don't want to be too critical of Bros Without Hose, but also, like, again, like, now that it's been 2 rounds in a row where Coastal Gaming have played in, like, these little rat spots, you would kind of expect them to do it again. This time they brought Running on the post, like you've mentioned, so he is going to be playing down below, and maybe even in basement, where he can get a lot of information on the main push here from Bros Without Hose.
Yeah, and something we saw in the first half was Coastal Gaming, they brought they brought the Monty combo to try and clear out Garage. They needed to bring all of that stuff because of the fact that Bros Without Hose on their defense, they brought Mai paired with the Azami on Garage. We don't see that here. I mean, just looking at it, the Azami's going to be a lot more exposed because of the fact that you got the Capita able to work his way in. Nothing to deny it, so if Resisted gets found out quickly, if they get the garage walls open, it'll be a lot easier for them to try and force him out. But Resisted is going to get aggressive for some reason. He's going to leave his safe haven and give full garage control to the side of the attack. Bros Without Hose very thankful of that decision by him, and Donald's just situated down below trying to challenge on the engage, but it's not going to go well for him. Joe is going to be a little bit lower on HP, a little bit worse for wear, but still, Coastal Gaming on the back foot.
Yeah, really weird decision, but like, even though they have garage control, Bros Without Hose, and even though they get another kill, they don't even have platform wall fully open. That breach, from what I saw, looked very awkward, and now the platform wall player is dead. So they have to make the best out of garage control, and maybe even have somebody go up red stairs.
Hey, Engage, getting a little bit aggressive there. I wanted to see that from Mike W, but maybe Engage is just doing his best Mike W impression, at least in this half. We've seen him and Running be an absolute threat on this roam game, and another one's going to fall for Bros Without Hose. Joddles has the perfect read on the player coming up red, and we'll work our way. Nihilek eventually has the challenge on the player on green box, but he's not even looking the right direction. Thankfully, they're not to be finished off, and well, Bros Without Hose, despite having a strong start to the attack, they seem to be falling apart.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
This is, again, the breach is really awkward. Can't really walk in because of just the lines that intersect. So Nihilek has to make the best of his entry, has to get in, try and get a plant down, and hope that Snoopy can cover him. So far, that is the case. He uses the fires to keep them inside of sight, but now you have to get a plant down. That is your only option.
Nihilek going to be the one with the diffusers. Who's going to work his way in. He's got a C4 with Joddles that he's got to worry about. Eventually trying to go for the bait out, but Nihilek actually going to find the swing, baits the defender out on his own. Look at this, down below, Joddles in the perfect position, not going to have the right read. C4 is going to go out, and it's not going to do anything, and is now going to be up to the mirror to try and retake up the red staircase. Snoopy having his health bar deleted away by the Legion Mine. Not gonna matter. Sound cues and Ollie wins that fight anyways. And Bros That Hose finally show some signs of life on the attack. They pick up their first attacking round onto the tertiary site.
Yeah, they just figured out what they needed to do by the end of it. Breach was not fully open, so they can't aggress together onto the on-site players. They have the zoning utility from the Capital to deny any rotations inside of sight. And they also fully baited Postal Gaming with the sound of the plant. So when the plant was technically going down from Nilek, somebody aggressed from Coastal Gaming, and Nilek found the opening kill. So that's just Bros Out Hose, their experience speaking to the prospects of how that round actually ended out for them. Because otherwise, if that were any other team at a T3 or T4 level, then that round probably would have went convincingly in the favor of Coastal Gaming, just because of how ugly the platform breach looked.
Well, just looking ahead to round number 10. For the first time, we've got the Tuber out being brought out by Coastal Gaming. It's going to be a very influential operator. Even though the Cade is banned out, still going to be able to deny a lot of the time when it comes to this hatch game, but not even the hatch game, and even the main breaches as well when it comes to the church wall. So very good operator pick by Coastal Gaming. But looking over to the attack, last time we came to this site, we saw that a lot of drone work was not being done by Bros That Hose, and they've got the perfect operators actually to try and deal with that, try and negate a little bit of the problems that we saw from them. You've got the IQ paired with the Dokkaebi to try and gain a lot of information, try to enable this fast and aggressive playstyle that we see from them. Just 30 seconds in, Nilek working his way all the way towards the bathroom area, and the top of main stairs, going to be able to spot out a lot of information. And I believe he has the read on the fact that Coastal Gaming are doing a very heavy roam game. Is there anybody on site right now? I'm not sure if there is.
No, I don't think there is, but Bros Without Hose are going to have to interact with the second floor either way. Going for a direct site take, especially with all hatches open, leaves them very susceptible to a retake here from Coastal Gaming. You don't really have enough map control to do a direct site take, is basically the consensus around it, but they're going to try and clear the map, although that isn't really going well. They wasted a minute on this roam clear, Nomical.
Yeah, we saw them, like I said, just a minute ago, work their way in really aggressively, but they haven't really done much since. They actually do finally find the first pick, as it's Slothy that worked his way in on the crossfire, on the cutoff, and finally is able to shut down that player inside of bar, but there is still a lot of roam presence that they're going to have to worry about. You can see Snoopy off in the distance, working his way in from the top floor over towards garage. They're going to try to put a little bit of tension, a little bit of pressure on any remaining roamers, but it doesn't look like there's much left, as Coastal Gaming have been allowed to escape and get back towards the site. They have now all four of their remaining members is situated to try and deny. Actually, no, I believe Engage out of the corner of my screen. I believe I saw that him as well as Runnin are still trying to be a little bit more aggressive.
I think Runnin, Engage can't really escape the top floor just because they have bar control. If he drops down that hatch, he's dead. So they have to continue fighting for this top floor, because the moment they try to rotate, you already have cutoffs established from Bros Without Hose, and Bros Without Hose know this. So what is the plan here? Do you just directly take site? Theoretically, it's a 4v or a 5v2 on site, and then you can try and get a plant down and then fight against the last two players alive. And no, Run is still gonna fight. Slothy finds the refract. So now maybe it's time to strike here for Bros Without Hose.
Yeah, but Engage is still going to be a little bit of a problem here on the top floor. He's got Slothy to deal with inside of the bar as well. You can see Joe potentially getting ready to go for a kitchen hatch drop. That seems to be the main emphasis from Bros That Hose. They want to try and go for a moto take and kitchen as well. Engage going to swing, wins the fight against the Thatcher, secures man advantage, at least tied back Coastal Gaming as the push is coming in from Blue. Mike W and his teammate are going to push their way in, but it's going to go punished as the attack is crippled and now falling apart. Doddles finds the final two. Coastal Gaming, despite struggling in the early round, come back beautifully with their hold on the site.
I believe that is match point as well for Coastal Gaming. And really, I had no expectations for either one of these teams. You probably lean more for Bros Without Hose just because of the pure fact that they have players like Slothy, like Snoopy, like Nilek, like Mike W, like Joe on their team, more notable players. But I didn't really have anything going for either one of these two teams. So I'm excited to see Coastal Gaming, a team that I haven't seen before, just show up completely well on the defense and also on the attack numerous amount of times. Despite the rough start that they had on the attack, they've really pulled not even just rounds out of like their butts or anything like that, but they've just like come up with cool and great solutions to big issues, and also have spotted huge weaknesses in Bros Without Hoes on a map where even Joe himself has said Clubhouse is Bros Without Hoes their best map
10 seconds to
in the map
insertion.
pool. And now Coastal Gaming, a team that has not played this map a single time
5
in
seconds
Spring Burst
remaining.
quals, is prepared to take that map away from you in the first best of 1.
Attacker's objective is to locate a
Yeah,
bomb and
this is
defuse it.
Bros That Ho's best map. You might have to be a little bit worried for their chances heading into the later portions of this group stage because of the fact that Coastal Gaming, a team that nobody knew anything about really, is really taking them to church and absolutely reading them beautifully. Coastal Gaming have had such a beautiful read on what Bros That Ho's have wanted to do when it comes to the attack and the defense. Like in the last round, we saw them do a beautiful job of going undetected, sitting alone on that top floor, and just finding picks when the openings presented themselves. And Bros That Host, they don't really seem to have much of a read. We've only seen them win now. Just one attack, which is not up to stuff with what Coastal Gaming was doing. They themselves found those 3 attacking rounds. And like we were talking about earlier on, especially in a meta like this, that's impressive, even on a map like Clubhouse.
Yeah. I can't remember which map it was, but Clubhouse was up there in terms of like the most defender-sided maps in SI 2024. And sure, this is an SI, but we can dream, but we can't dream about that kill from Joe. That was a nice kill onto Engage. Sided now alone in construction, as that was the only player on that Cash and CC extension from Coastal Gaming.
And it's going to give a lot of space over to the side of Bros That Ho's, like you said. Only player on the side of the map over here, and it's going to get even better as Don Snoopy comes alive. He's going to find another one, takes Resisted off the board in, well, just a minute in or so, and, well, using these zombies not going to be ideal because of the fact that you're not going to have access to those Kiva barricades for the later portions of the round. Snoopy finds another one just out on the highway. Coastal Gaming seem to be falling apart. It's now up to Joddles and Runnin alone to try and clutch within 2 versus 5. But you have one of the best performers for the team still alive. If you want anybody alive, it's going to be Runnin, but siege timing comes into effect. Slothy, he's going to fail Joddles, and it's going to leave Runnin alone in a 1 versus 5. He is going to find 1 for his troubles, but Snoopy still situated out on the catwalk. He's going to find a 3rd on the round, and well, now, Bros That Ho's just sit 1 round away from potentially sending us to overtime.
Probably one of the closer matches that we've had so far in the Spring Burst. If Group A is anything to go by too, a lot of those games, or all of them actually, ended up ending in regulation. The closest game that we saw was SBL versus X Osiris, which went to 12 rounds, like max 12 rounds, and Osiris got that win 7-5. That might be happening here, or we could have our first OT in a Spring Burst with Coastal Gaming now going back to the gym bedroom site. And really, the only thing that I kind of noticed about that last round was just the Cash and CC extension not really working out too well for Coastal Gaming. Hopefully it's a little bit stronger.
You did my boy Spiff dirty. As an ex-Astralis fanboy, how did you forget about the game yesterday? It was the... I believe it was the SBL roster versus the Temper White roster. I did too, so I can't say anything myself. But yeah, Spiff yesterday broke the kill record for Xenon all time with 24 kills.
8-7.
Yeah, it was the 8-7 victory on Oregon. That was a crazy game.
Man.
It was like Spiff had like 24 kills and then Poison had like 4. It was absolutely wild. And speaking of wild, what a wild spawn peek from Russ over inside a strip club. Takes out the main hard breacher. You didn't want to be losing Joe early on here, especially because where the site is, we're up in gym bedroom once again. You're going to need a lot of hard breach on this map, and now you're going to be really limited just to Selma charge of the ace left.
Yeah, even though you still have the ace up, and that may not seem like the end of the world to most people, but losing the thermite when you need to get jacuzzi wall open, you need to get the single wall open inside of construction. Really what you want Mike W to do is help with the cache and CCTV clear. You open up the main breach on platform, and then you open up the interior walls inside of CCTV connected to cache, so that you can clear the green box player a little bit easier, and also help you push onto red stairs so that that player can't play in CC to help support the top red player. Now that they don't have that, this push may be a little bit more one-dimensional. Coastal Gaming, if you see them, they're not actively holding cache and CC, so that area might be given up for free.
Well, the good news for Bros Without Hose is they still have a lot of drones available to them. Just 3 destroyed to this point, and well, that's good, especially considering you've got that Mozzie that you have to deal with on the side of Coastal Gaming. Just half the round to go now, and you've got that Flores to try and deal with some of these Kiva barricades. Not exactly sure if he's done much with the 2 that he's used so far, but he's got a lot to deal with inside of construction. You can see running just situated on this bunker position that they've created with said Kiva barricades, and well, Rose Hus might be stalling out a little bit here. They've got that full CCTV control, but they haven't really done anything with it. They've just kind of got players situated outside the building, outside of Jacuzzi. You got 2 of them situated here. You've got one above Logi as well as that one over on the highway area of the map. Mike W trying to hold the cutoff on main stairs, and likely not going to find much there as all the players from Coastal Gaming have worked their way back to the site.
Rotated, Mike W. to the Jacuzzi breach to get that wall open, at least give Coastal Bros Without Hose an extra angle to work with. And then he's going to go down to the main stairs to help pull off a blitz play with 4 players alive and all of the Kiva barriers working against them, and none of them destroyed by the Flores drones. So this is going to be rough here for Bros Without Hose in the last 30 seconds.
Indeed, here comes the drive. You can see the smoke grenades going out, but, well, seems like Snoopy's going to think a little bit better of it. Nylek going to be lit up from inside of Jim, and well, here comes the walk-ins. Jolt's going to find another one as well. The attack from Rose That Hose just falling apart. It's up to Snoopy and Mike W alone, and now just Snoopy in the 1 versus 5. He's going to find one for his trouble, but it's not going to be much better than Jottles finds the final kill. It's going to be Coastal Gaming get the 7-5 victory over Bros That Hose and secure themselves now just 1 map away, 1 best of 1 away from qualifying for the Spring Burst playoff.
An exciting map of Clubhouse that was, at least for Coastal Gaming. I said I really wanted to see how they played because I haven't seen them before, and what do you get? A nice Clubhouse attack and an even better Clubhouse defense that put them into that match point and then sealed the deal in that final round once they killed that Thermite, and also the Kiva barrier staying up against Coastal Gaming and Bros Without Hose. The one thing that I noticed a lot throughout this matchup is the fact that they were consistently left into like late round situations, last 10 seconds, last 30 seconds, and they couldn't quite hang. They couldn't quite over aggress onto Coastal Gaming and overwhelm them because Coastal Gaming didn't let them do that.
And I think the name of the game there, like you said, was not only the fact that they were on the back foot a lot, but it was also the aggression that we saw from Coastal Gaming. I mean, both teams as a whole were aggressive throughout that map, but particularly in the second half when Coastal Gaming were on the defenses, and especially when Bros That Hose didn't do much in the terms of droning, they were able to just sit alone, like we saw in that one round on Church, round number 10. They had the 2 players up above who were able to retake and really slow down the attack. So I feel like Bros That Hose, the key win condition for them going forward is they're going to need to slow things down a little bit, still keep that aggression, but really work on that drone game.
And I hate to bring them up again because they're in a completely different group, but this reminds me of Osiris's game against Outlast, where they did a lot of things like what Coastal Gaming did. The spawn peaks, the rat plays, the aggressiveness, getting into the faces of Bros Without Hose. And for the most part, that was left unpunished. And for Coastal Gaming, that was mainly on their defenses where that was left unpunished. We saw Gage engage in the first opening round of the defense, play in stock in that rat corner. And then we saw Engage do it again in the second round when they were playing in the bedroom and when they were playing in the kitchen. And Nylek was very late to the trade and had no info for it. So you want to say that's all in a drone game there from Bros Without Hose, but I don't really think it is. I think it's Coastal Gaming putting themselves in positions where they know they won't get punished.
Indeed, and well, thankfully for Coastal Gaming, they now just 1 best of 1 away from qualifying, but I feel bad a little bit for Bros That Hose because now, in order to qualify for playoffs, they're going to have to win 2 best of 3s going forward, so a long road ahead of them. But we've got a long road ahead for the rest of the Spring Burst. We've got plenty of more action coming at you tonight, but that's going to have to wait just a few minutes. We've got a short break. When we come back, it's game number 2.